Hello again and welcome to another episode of Beyond the Box Score. I'm your host Brad Fetters and today we focus on the fall teams at Birmingham Seaholm High School. Before we get started, I'd like to take this opportunity to congratulate our entire crew on a 2017 Philo T. Farnsworth Award. It's a great honor and we could not have done it without the help of the entire Seaholm Athletic Department. So a big thank you goes out to all the coaches, players, and especially Athletic Director Aaron Frank. We start out today's show with the boys soccer team. Last year was an extremely successful campaign under first-year head coach Jared Vince. The team finished with a 10-7-5 record, but more importantly, took home a district title, beating Berkeley 1-0 to capture the crown. The team was looking to build on that momentum while replacing a ton of talent.
Let's go! Last season we had a great team. We had about 18 seniors or something around that. We only have 4 returning varsity players, so yeah, they had a great season and we're trying to be as good as them.
It was an older team and the guys had been used to playing with each other and so stepped into a pretty well-oiled machine.
I think we did really well. The defense was really solid. We had a great goalkeeper. And especially a lot of them were seniors, so they had like a last game mentality, like we want this. This is our last shot to win something for our school.
Last season, ton of fun, bunch of great players. A couple of them went off to play at the college level, so really skilled team with a lot of us having played together since we were like 6 years old.
This year is a little bit different. It's a little bit more of a rebuild, but in a lot of ways it's not because there's a lot of talent and these guys have been playing well with each other for a while.
As long as we play as like a solid unit, we'll do pretty good.
This season we came in with a lot of hard work through the off-season last spring, winter, and then this summer we've been working really hard. We went to camp, got a lot of team bonding in, and we brought up a lot of underclassmen. So we have pretty high expectations for them, bringing them up with, our pretty small upperclassmen size.
I expect them to make a run at districts. They're passionate about it. I think they have the ability, and they're smart, so we can adjust to different teams.
Seaholm soccer and soccer in general has been one of the biggest parts of my life. So growing up, coming in as a senior at Seaholm and being announced captain was a great feeling, leading these boys that I've known for my whole life, not just through Seaholm. Yeah, it's pretty amazing knowing that I'm their leader and, gonna have a pretty memorable impact on such a great program.
Grant Davis is one of our center backs, and he's just a leader. The guys respect him, they're his friend, they look up to him. He is one of my go-to guys. He's just responsible, has a sense of positive leadership and lead by example on the field. And then Zach Martin, he's a fantastic player. In this position also, it helps when he can be a leader on the field. He has the best view outside of me as the coach, and he can see from our back line to our front line, and he's the second coach on the field, and he does that. So, and then Nick Ross, supremely talented player, incredibly humble. He's a junior, and so just wanted him to feel really confident as a leader, and I just trust that he's going to do a great job, and he has so far.
His practices are run really well. If we're messing around, he knows how to get us back on track.
Even this new coaching staff has been awesome. One thing they all do a great job of, especially Coach Vince, is letting the players kind of lead themselves, especially in the game setting. It's great to know that we're going to be the ones yelling at each other and he's not, really going to be taking control of the game from the bench. But he also does a great job of balancing, when he does need to come in and direct us.
Groves is always just and Rice. We played Rice already. Rice and Groves are our biggest, we want to win that game. There's a lot of preparation for those. And then there's the Troy schools, both of them. They're really tough to beat. So every time we go into those games, we're especially pumped up and we're ready to fight.
This initial Groves game and then the second Groves game, it's homecoming week, the second one, it's a home game. So as always, they're our rival, and I just know that at least last year, that Saturday night game against Groves, it got us out of a bit of a funk.
The West Bloomfield games, we won in the last minute of the game, and that was a very emotional game for a lot of us. It's probably the highlight of my season so far.
It's definitely our first Groves match. They have a great team. A lot of us know them, big rivalry, and we'll have to bring it to them.
We played BH. That was one of the best victories I've probably ever had in my whole soccer career. Just because the way we came back, I don't know if you know, but it was like we were down 2-1, 10 minutes left, and we scored twice to win the game within the 10 minutes. One of the goals was a breakaway in the last under the minute, and I was lucky enough to like participate in that and get a goal.
The last couple of minutes of every game as a varsity player and as a varsity coach, just the intensity, and like I said earlier, like I'm so fired up about our boys. Like they just want to win.
Base on 3! 1, 2, 3!
Race! Let us now welcome BACB Sports' own Andy Aubrey to the studio. Andy, welcome.
Thank you, Brad. It's good to be here.
This soccer team here at Seaholm High School has really turned into a legitimate threat every single season.
Yeah, they sure have. As we know, the OAA White is loaded with tough teams, and those league games have really prepared Seaholm for the postseason. Now, Jared Vince steps in last year and takes the team all the way to the regional semifinals, and he was named District Coach of the Year in his very first year at the helm.
I think it's safe to assume that this Seaholm team would take a little bit of a tiny step back this year.
Maybe, yeah. Seaholm graduated 2 All-State players in Joey Koppmeyer and Alex Kerstetter. Yet, somehow they found a way to go 8-7-4 this year. Now, the players really seem to be buying into the new system, and they're enjoying playing for Coach Vince.
A few players really stood out for the Maples this year.
That's true. Zach Martin was unbelievable in net, and that included a 0-0 shutout draw against Groves. He ended up the year with 5 shutouts, and their leading scorers were Hagen Cunningham and Zach Ziegler.
This year's playoff run ended for the Maples in the very first round of district play to eventual district champion Troy. But if you want to see them in action, how can our viewers go about doing that, Andy?
You know, we called 2 of their games this year, including that thrilling 0-0 draw against their rivals from Groves. But if you want to watch those programs, you can tune in to bloomfieldtwp.org, click on the on-demand portion of the website, and then scroll down to BACB Sports. That's where the game's located, as well as all of our other fall events.
Awesome, Andy. Thank you so much. You'll be with us throughout today's program. We now turn our attention to the volleyball team. Heather Gambone and her squads have had multiple long runs in the playoffs recently. Last year saw them fall in the second round of districts, but this year's team brought back plenty of talent.
Last year we had some girls that had been on the team for 3-4 years. We lost our 4-year setter. Lots of good leadership, lots of hard work.
Just like the team energy that we had and how much everybody wanted it and how we were all there to play as a team, not as individuals, and how we really pushed each other, the younger kids pushing the older kids at practice and throughout the whole season.
I think last year's team was one of the closest teams I've ever been on. I think we all meshed really well. It didn't start like that, like most teams. We had to get used to that.
Well, we lost a lot of seniors last year, so that's obviously kind of tough on us. But we have 2 new freshmen and a couple juniors that were on JV, and they're all really stepping up so far. And we've improved so much since tryouts, dramatically. And I think we're just going to keep improving rapidly and get to where we want to be.
Practices are good. We need to work on keeping a high energy level throughout the whole time, and we have a freshman setter coming in. She's working hard, so she's going to get better throughout the years. I think the seniors are going to play a major part. We have 5 seniors on this team who contribute a lot.
We're seeing a lot of girls figuring out where their role is, and we're pushing them to put in a lot of hard work in order to break into that starting lineup. We have 5 seniors that are really good leaders, and a lot of young kids that need to catch up and learn a lot.
I'm seeing a lot of new girls. There's a lot of girls who are new to varsity, and so they're just kind of getting used to everything that comes along with being a varsity player, the responsibilities and the intensity. I don't know if they were going to be used to how intense our practices can be, and the coaches are going to yell at you, and that's going to happen.
Once I was named a captain, I felt the urge to always be on top for this team and always giving my best energy and always doing what's best for them and myself.
I'm not really used to having girls look up to me. I've always been the person who looks up to the seniors and who looks up to the captains and asks them for advice, and now I have girls coming up to me for advice and looking at me to be a leader, and so I've never really had that type of position before, but I'm really excited about it.
I was a captain last year, so I kind of like knew what to expect. So basically just making sure everybody's there on time, everybody's here to play.
So we have Nikki Carey. She's a middle blocker, maybe taking some swings on the outside. We have Sammy Schechter, who plays right side, and Molly Ligon, who is an outside hitter. Molly was also a captain last year.
I love Coach Heather. She's fun. She's good. She gives us good tips all the time. She's serious when she needs to be. She's fun when we need a little bit of a break. So all around, I love Heather.
Awesome. She's a very good coach. I love Heather. She's like the perfect balance of like strict and fun. Like she's not too hard on us, but like we get work done.
Swing clear. Yeah.
I like playing the bigger teams like Clarkston and Lake Orion. I think it's going to be a difficult game for us, both Clarkston and Lake Orion, but I always look forward to those games because the crowds are wild and it's intense, but it's a lot of fun, and I think that we can do really well if we try hard enough.
I think we're always most excited to face Marion just because it's always a good battle between us and we love beating them.
My greatest moment in coaching would be 2012. We had an excellent group of seniors, and it had been, I think, like 11 years since we had won the district, and we beat Marion in the district finals in 5 sets, and it came down to, I think it was really, really close in the 5th set. I don't know, it was like all a blur, but that final moment still stands in my memory. And then that year we ended up winning the regional title and also went to quarterfinals and lost in the quarterfinals.
Probably beating Clarkston sophomore year. It was like a 5-set match and we won like 15-13 or something. It was crazy.
I don't know if I have like a specific moment, but there are things that I look forward to like every year, like little traditions that we have. Like every year after the last day of tryouts, we all go out to lunch together, and then before every home game we have a dance party in the parking lot, and those are like my favorite things. It's a lot of fun. So like little moments like that I always look forward to, our traditions.
As of the filming of this program, the team is gearing up for district play. The district has a new look for the Maples this year.
Right, after all those battles with their rivals from Groves, Bloomfield Hills, and Marion, the road to the district title gets a little easier for Seaholm this year. Now, a first-round matchup with Royal Oak looms with Troy High and Athens on the other half of that draw.
The Seaholm team has plenty of talent on the floor most nights.
They do. Molly Ligon is a tremendous outside hitter. She leads the team in kills by a wide margin, and she'll be playing at the next level somewhere next year. Jill Shefferly at the libero position is fantastic as well. Lots of digs for her and the ability to keep that ball alive.
A young team this year for the Maples as well.
That's true. Only 5 seniors on the roster, and those players are providing a lot, but next year's team should be prepared and ready to go.
Good luck to the ladies in the district playoffs. Our coverage now heads to the pool with the Seaholm boys water polo team. Last year was the year #1 for head coach Josh Stevens. The Navy vet brought plenty of experience to his new role and had the Maples clicking on all cylinders. He and the team hope for a repeat performance this year.
Last year was a pretty good season. We made it to regionals, which was good. We lost by 3 goals in the regional playoff game, which was a little unexpected, but great for a first-year coach. He kind of changed stuff up, did a lot of conditioning throughout the year, just like some new strategies and stuff.
We really couldn't have asked for a better group of guys. The senior class last year, they were big, they were great leaders, you know, great captains, and you know, it was just a fantastic season. The guys played really well.
Last year we had a decent record. You know, it was about even. We had a couple teams that were really wrecking us last year. We lost to Groves. I think it's 4 years in a row now, and hopefully this year we can take them out and beat them.
Going to states, I think this season we have. It's a real possibility because of how strong our senior class is, and the fact that we've had a lot of the younger guys really start to step up well. Quite frankly, faster than I would have thought.
I mean, it's usually a pretty underrated team. Like every year since, I don't know, since before I was a freshman, it's been like, oh, just Seaholm, you know, easy win, kind of roll over. But yeah, it's mainly kind of every game we played this year, teams have had that mindset going in. But last year kind of made a little bit of name for ourselves. So it's teams are getting a little bit, better teams want to play us, scheduling more games with us.
I'd have to say it's because our ball movement's a lot better, our passes are a lot cleaner, we have a lot more smarter plays going on. You know, maybe we weren't as developed last year as we were this year.
You know, a lot of our current starting guys were on the team last year for varsity starting. So, you know, it's a big improvement.
It's always good being voted captain by your team members and coaches, and kind of just worked on encouraging guys a lot, making sure guys are focused. Sometimes you can't be like everybody's friend, which is not that much fun, but do what you can to lead and make sure you're setting a good example.
Well, to me, it meant, you know, bringing up the team to a better standard, making sure all the guys are focused in practice, you know, really pushing the guys during, you know, dry lands and stuff. We do a lot of hard stuff with our co-coach Kelly, and you know, it's really tough stuff, and a lot of the guys want to drop out sometimes. So it's really important for us to push them really hard.
Both of my captains are just fantastic when it comes to leadership by example. I mean, both during practice, the way they play their game, just the hustle, how hard they work. You know, I mean, they're just absolutely on it all the time.
So Josh is always pushing us to be better. You know, he does a lot more hard conditioning during practices, which is really good for games. As you know, water polo is one of the really tough sports where you got to keep moving all the time. And a lot of time he gives us new plays, new picks. You know, during 6-on-5, we've really improved it this year, really well. And you know, just basic things like that.
He's always got a positive attitude. He's always reassuring guys, building guys up in practice. Does just a lot of work one-on-one with guys, make sure attitudes are high. Always talks to the captains afterwards, sees what he can improve on. So overall, he's just shown a lot of interest, a lot of effort, and just pouring in a lot of talented guys.
When you got this year's schedule, what was it, maybe one game that you looked at the schedule and said, this is probably our most important game?
Well, we think of all our games as very important, but you know, obviously there are some games that are a lot more important than others.
Groves every year, and then also Ann Arbor Pioneer and Ann Arbor Huron. We had a lot of games scheduled with them, so, and that's a team we need to be in the regional playoff to make it to the state. So Coach Stevens purposely scheduled those games. That way we could get used to playing those guys. That way when regionals comes around, we'll know what to do. We'll have some experience. Like, we know we can hang with them. We know we can beat them.
Ann Arbor Pioneer, they were kind of on our level and beat us a couple times last year. You know, this year they took a couple away from us that I think were a little unexpected, but we managed to take one from them recently here. And it was after that game, I think the guys kind of knew. They're like, yeah, okay, we're in the mix. You know, if we can beat these guys, you know, if we can do what we're supposed to do, we have a really good shot of moving forward.
Andy is back once again, and it really was a terrific regular season for the Maples.
It was. The team finished 6-1 in district play, which included wins over Hold East Lansing and Okemos, the #2 ranked team in the state. Now, that record was good enough for the top spot in the district tournament.
A rematch with Holt East Lansing occurred in the second round.
It did. And after destroying Lake Orion 20-2, the Maples took on the team they call Hotel. It was a tough matchup that went the way of Holt East Lansing by the final score of 12-7. Now, Seaholm was able to get a little revenge in the third place game, beating their rivals from Groves 9-2.
Groves was the lone regular season loss for Seaholm, so that had to feel good. Maples played Dexter in the first round of regionals this year.
They did, and Seaholm took care of business against Dexter, beating them 10-7, before losing in the regional semifinals to Okemos 11-6. Now, it was a hard-fought consolation game versus Hold East Lansing that saw the Maples fall 7-6, but the results were good enough to qualify for the state tournament.
Seaholm will take on #1 seeded Rockford in the first round of the state tournament over at Ann Arbor Huron. Good luck to them. We stay in the pool for the girls swim and dive team. Last year's group was victorious at the state title meet, outscoring Dexter by 37.5 points to win the state championship. It was a special season for head coach Carl Hodgson, who hoped to recapture some of that magic this year.
Last year was fantastic. It was a goal that the girls had had for a couple years prior to that group, that core group, that eventually before they graduated they were going to win a state championship. And that was the main focus, and they did an outstanding job of doing that. I mean, I've had teams where maybe they sort of lost track along the way, but the focus that you hear everybody talk about all the time, they had it all the way through the season. And what a great group of girls to coach as well. That's what made it so special. I mean, it was a perfect season.
Last year we started off, I mean, we weren't sure if we were even going to be in the competition for states,
but we worked hard, and in the end, we got the outcome that we worked hard for.
We set our minds every time. We'd maybe fall off, we'd get our heads, everyone would be like, hey, we know what we want to do, let's do it.
It was a really exciting season. We knew we had a lot of good people. We had a lot of seniors that were ready to get going. And I think that when we got to state meet, we just decided we wanted to do it. We went in and we pulled it out.
Oh my gosh, it was crazy. Everyone was like crying and then happy, jumping. Even Coach Carl, he jumped in the pool. It was awesome. I'll never forget it.
We're looking at trying to repeat. I mean, that's the level that we brought the program to, and that's our goal right now. Whether it's going to happen or not, we'll see.
My expectations are the new freshmen that come in are showing great potential and are really good. And for myself, I've gone to states 3 times before, so I'm hopefully trying to go again.
Let's do it again. I want this year. We got a lot of great new freshmen coming in. Everyone's kind of improved. I'm super, super excited to see what we can do.
To be a captain means that I have to show a lot of leadership, and it means a lot that my fellow swimmers wanted me to lead the team.
We were all pretty excited and happy. I mean, some of us didn't expect it, but when we were called captain, we knew that we had to step up and just do what's right for our team, and really help people get more excited about the season and just pump everyone up more.
It's an honor that they chose me, and I want to do a good job. I want to lead the team, and I want to get the freshmen on board.
Like organizing clothes, getting ready for the trip we take, and just kind of being in charge of 60 girls is a lot, but it's also a huge honor.
So it's a wide mix. We have one one is like super competitive and a serious year-round swimmer. We have ones who just swim high school and are great working with their fellow teammates. So we have a very nice balance of everything you expect in a group of captains. So I'm very pleased with what they've done so far.
Coach Carl is really good at knowing how to balance out hard and easier sets and when to do sets at what time and stuff like that, and he has a good balance of knowing when to be harsh and when to be nice, and he's just overall a great coach.
He is tough, but it kind of helps you not get off track. He keeps your mind where it's supposed to be, encourages us every day. I don't know, he's also a friend. Even if he doesn't like to admit it, he's our friend, and he knows what we want to do and helps us get there.
Carl really pushes us to do our best. I mean, sometimes he'll make sets and we'll all, be really tired and we'll all groan, but he'll make us push through, and it makes us better swimmers because of that.
Other than a championship meet, because obviously we're focused on, the county's league championships and states, I would probably have to say our biggest rival lately has become, not including Groves because they're across town, that's a given, is usually the Rochester Adams meet. They've had our number the last 4 or 5 years. They've been league champs, and we've been second runner-up in those same years, and that seems to always be a very big competitive meet.
The Groves meet is really fun. We make shirts to help get everyone in the spirit and get everyone really excited, and everyone just steps up during that meet and really tries their best.
Most excited meet, Rochester Adams for sure. They've been our rival for a while. They've beaten us the last couple years, but we got them this year. We're ready.
I would have to say it's probably a combination of the state championship last year at state meet, but maybe that our medley relay crushed our school record, going 143 was that was cool. That was special.
Well, I mean, states would probably be the obvious one. That was definitely the highlight. I think another good one would be our meets against Adams. They're our rivals, and I think we've never beat them when I was here, but I think this year is going to be our year, and I think we're going to shine.
In my personal career, my biggest moment was as a freshman at our league meet, I dropped 5 seconds and got my state cut, so that was a big deal for me.
The whole team aspect of it, like this team's very like, I don't know, it's like amazing, and it's might be like the best part of Seaholm, and because you have like 60 of your closest friends on the team, and you just work hard every single day.
Definitely stick out the most will be winning the championship last year. And if we do it again this year, then the two-peat, I guess.
A few terrific swimmers were back this year off of last year's state championship team.
That's true. It sort of starts with seniors Linnea Anderson and Haley Dolan. Now, both of those girls were part of the first place 200 medley relay team at last year's state meet. Dolan also finished first at the 50 free, while Anderson had a top 5 finish in the 100 butterfly event.
Who else will contribute to this year's team?
Well, Cece Cousins is a really good junior, and the other name to pay attention to is Gigi Hoppen, who is the only sophomore. Now, she finished 5th in the 100 breaststroke at last year's state meet as a freshman. And if you add in the underclassmen who joined the team, Seaholm has a legitimate shot of repeating.
They're coming off an 8th place finish at the Oakland County meet and should be peaking at the right time. I'd like to remind our viewers that we are on social media. You can follow us on Twitter at Beyond Box Score and like us on Facebook. We post links to all of our programming as well as a few behind-the-scenes photos. We close today's show with the Seaholm football team. After back-to-back 3 and 6 seasons, the Maples hope to turn things around this year. With a terrific mix of senior leadership and experienced underclassmen, getting back to the playoffs was a top priority.
Ready, set.
We had a really rough season in terms of close games and losses. We played Rice at the first game of the year, and we built our expectations up for that game a lot, and we kind of let that game base our season, and we ended up losing that game even though we played them pretty tough, and I think that just kind of dragged us down.
For last year, for the team, it's kind of disappointment. We had a lot of young guys, so that's going to help for this year. And personally, I got a lot of experience. I got an opportunity to start both ways, so this year helps a lot getting that experience.
We were a good defensive team, but the offense just couldn't really seem to put it together all that much.
I think we progressed throughout the year. I thought we were better at the last game than we were the first game. I mean, I was really proud of our guys that finished the season with the win versus Pontiac Notre Dame Prep. They needed the win to get in the playoffs. We really had nothing to play for.
The expectations for Seaholm football was that we have way more talent this year than we have in previous years. Our guys, we had 6 sophomores pulled up last year, so we have way more talent and experience on this year's team coming into it. We have way more speed and strength than we did last year.
We were looking for playoffs, but we are also looking to make a run if we do make the playoffs, and I think we really have a special team here, and we knew that going in, so we really put in extra work in the offseason because we knew that it could be a special season.
This year we had like biggest expectations. We knew this was going to be the year. We had a bunch of sophomores up last year, so we're aiming high this year, and the sky's the limit for this team.
Well, our expectations is go to the playoffs, and that's always going to be the expectations. You know, we have some good pieces coming back. We have a couple kids that have been starters since they're sophomores. We have a really good senior class. We have a junior class that's pretty athletic that had some success at the lower levels. We had 6 sophomores at some point in the other start for us last year, and they're all juniors now. So the expectation's high.
Coach DeWall, I couldn't ask for a better coach. He knows what he's doing. He brings fire every day. Just like on the field, off the field, I've learned so much from him these past years, and it's going to carry me for the rest of my life.
I mean, he's just a really high intensity guy. He really fires you up. He really loves the game, and he's really good at showing that to his players, and he makes his players love the game just as much as he does. And you know, when we come in as freshmen, he says, just give me 4 years and you'll leave a better man. And I can guarantee if you interview every senior or every alumni that's left this program, they say that they became a better man every 4 years, and I think that's what he brings to the table. He just makes men. He makes football players.
It means a lot to be named captain from this, because going through this program for 4 years and then being named a captain, I mean, it means the world to me. It shows that the teammates have trusted me to lead this team.
I knew I needed to lead the team. This is something I sort of was working towards since freshman year. I wasn't huge football freshman year, but when I got pulled up my sophomore year, I knew I needed to be a leader of the team and bring us all together and work hard and hopefully have a winning senior season.
It's really honorable. I mean, I've always been a fan of Seaholm football. I've been coming to games since I was 7, and I've actually known a couple of Seaholm captains, so it's really special. It's been a dream of mine for a really long time.
Well, I think Carter brings an energy level and a passion that he gets people to match him. He's a Division I football player. He's got a work ethic second to none. You got Nick Lang is a kid that just brings some steady Eddie, if you will. Not really emotional or not really loud vocal guy, but is always going to do the right thing. You can trust him to be in the right spot at the right time. He's a guy that can lead these younger guys. He has a lot of empathy towards the younger guy because he was a younger guy, and he's able to really help those guys and kind of pat them on the back. And then Vaish is a kid that's really smart, has a lot of want-tos, going to play college football, and he's been going to Seaholm football games since he was knee high. So he loves our program, and he's doing a really good job.
The two most important games were definitely BH home opener, can't beat it. Just huge crowd, thousands of people. You got months to prepare in the summer. You got to come out and hopefully win. And then definitely Groves. Groves was number 2. The rivalry coming home again for my senior season, just nothing can beat it.
I mean, obviously, usually it's the first game, just like circle that. Especially this year was Bloomfield Hills. And of course, Groves, last home game of the year. So of course, those two were marked on the schedule, but week by week, keep working.
Well, they're all important. Obviously, Groves is a big one. Our home games last year, we didn't win a home game. And Groves has gotten the better half of us for the last few years. So that's a game that we need to win. We need to get back on the top of that rivalry. Taking nothing from them, that they've beat us for 3 years now, and we have to change that. And we gotta protect our home field.
The most memorable game for me is the Oak Park game my sophomore year, and we ended up losing that game on the last play, but it's still my most memorable game because that was the game that we fumbled on the first play of the game, and we kind of had our heads down. We were having a rough year. We weren't going to the playoffs, but we really grinded in the second half, and we stuck it out, and we scored with a minute to go, and I just remember loving my team playing that game and loving football, and I just remember exactly how I felt in that game, and it was a great game to be in.
I mean, so far, in terms of just being on the field, scored my first touchdown last year against Notre Dame Prep, and that was a game winner, so that was a surreal moment. And then hopefully this year, going to the playoffs, making a run, that would be the best moment there.
Definitely my sophomore year when I got pulled up. I was sat out for 2 games with a concussion. I came back midway through our game against Oak Park, and I had 2 sacks and 2 tackles for loss in 1 half. So that was definitely one of my biggest and proudest moments, was coming back from that and bouncing back and helping out the team.
Oh, there's been so many of them. I think, every year brings some new challenges and brings new highs and lows. And, going back to last year, I was so proud of our kids, the way they finished the season with Pontiac, Notre Dame Prep. But you can go back to previous years of, our first year doing, fighting into having a great season, and the next year beating Southfield in the playoffs that thought was unbeatable. And just every year there's something that you can hold your hat on and say, gosh, I'm really proud of these guys, really proud of this team. Wins and losses obviously have not gone our way the last couple of years, and there's more to judge a team on that. I know that's our job, is to win, but there's always something you can hold your hat high on.
Really another tough season for the Seaholm football team.
It was 1-8 record to finish the season, and 4 straight year missing the playoffs. But this team was much better than the record indicated. They had 4 losses this season of less than 2 points, including their game against their rivals, Groves.
The team really was also decimated by injuries this year.
Yeah, it really was. Some key players were injured throughout the year. Lang, Schumacher, Jokic, all missed time, and they are all key contributors to the Maples.
Junior quarterback should mean bigger and better things for the team next year.
Well, that's for sure. We were both really impressed at how well Joel Mitchell played in their game against Groves. He's a quarterback in the Veer offense, and he's asked to do a lot of things. Mitchell looks like he's the real deal.
This is really a team under Coach DeWall that will look to rebound next year and make it back to the playoffs for the first time since that OAA Blue Championship team of 2013. Well, that will do it for today's program.
And we'd like to remind all of you that you can view all of our programming online at bloomfieldtwp.org.
And make sure to follow us on Twitter at Beyond Box Score and give us a like on Facebook.
And a big thank you to everyone associated at the Seaholm Athletic Program, including all of their coaches and especially Athletic Director Aaron Frank.
Also got to thank our co-producer Jason Radalski. For my broadcast partner Andy Aubrey, I'm Brad Fetters. Thank you so much for watching this edition of Beyond the Box Score. We will see you next time.